welcome to the oddest little podcast on the internet. We are the Odd Pod. What's going on? My name is Stacy Kruger. Hi, I'm a pretty little princess. Who are you guys?
I am casually challenged. I have no jokes.
I am Rat Hazard, and insert witty comment here.
I'm Robbie, and I want to be a princess, too.
All right, Robbie, we'll put on our princess gowns together, and we'll go bounding through the streets of London until we get beat to death with billy clubs. How's that sound?
I'm going to find me a prince.
What's going on, guys? How have you been? Rad, it's great to have you back for a podcast.
Yeah, I thought I'd drop in and say hi to the little people for a while.
How was your weekend off?
It was fine. Driving a lot. It was fun.
Well, how many hours of driving was it total? You said like 6 hours of driving total one way?
One-way drive, 8.5.
Oh, God. I don't miss those days. I don't. I used to do it on the regular. I don't miss that shit at all, you know?
The furthest I've ever traveled in any given direction from home was only about 7 hours.
Really? That's it?
Well, yeah, I don't live in a big country.
You know, there's other countries around. Jesus Christ.
I've never left this island.
Really?
Yeah.
He has never been voted off.
Robbie,
Yeah,
we're sorry.
Well,
that
that's
you've been voted
because
off.
we weren't involved in the voting.
Exactly, man. I think the first I ever drove was, 2.5 days straight. Well, obviously there's people taking turns at the wheel, but yeah, 2.5 days straight. That was fun.
That's a lot of driving.
It sucked. Just straight out, it fucking sucked. But what do you expect, right?
The longest I've ever driven straight was like 12 to 14 hours, I think.
Yeah, well, I don't want to do it ever again. That's part of the reason why I'm so glad I gave up the band thing with touring, because driving that long sucks, especially when you're crammed into like a really small vehicle with a whole bunch of people right next to you. Oh, it's fucking awful.
I don't know how I'd feel living in the center of a continent. I don't like that being that far away from the ocean.
Really? I guess it doesn't bother me too much because I have the world's biggest fucking freshwater lake right next to, like a couple steps away from me. You know.
That's true.
I honestly, I don't think it bothered me too much if I didn't have water around me.
No, I can't breathe in fresh water.
Confirmed, Robbie is a saltwater fish. Confirmed, you're a fucking dolphin.
It was a joke that a lot of towns play on each other, saying, "Oh, that town over there, they're all inbred. They've got fucking webbed feet."
God damn it. I left my house, guys. I finally left my house. I finally went and did something that I was told to do.
Stop the presses, Stacy went outside.
You should be proud of me. I went and did something that you guys wanted me to do. Do you know what I did?
Outside?
I love the fact that his was also breaking up some, so it just made it that much better. GG, man. I finally went and saw Thor. I have good things to say, some bad, but a lot of good things to say. And I went and saw it the same day that Justice League released. And I walked up to the gal at the counter. I was like, all right, listen, I have a podcast. I made myself a little. I was like, listen, ma'am, I'm a member of the media, because I wanted to pretend that my testicles were 20 times bigger than they really were. So I was like, listen, ma'am, I'm a member of the media. I need to know some information. She went, okay. I thought the shirt was about to come up. I'm like, no, I would love to see that information, but not that. Is not what I'm asking here. I was like, all right, so what's going on? Which had a bigger release, Thor or Justice League? Because you could see all of the opinions you want on the internet. I need to know cold hard facts. She started laughing. She went, oh, Thor. Oh, Thor. Wait, is it that bad? She went, oh, went, oh, Jesus. She like, people are coming, but yeah, they're not coming like they were for Thor. Not by a long shot. And Thor is the third one in a series of just one, where Justice League is a league.
No. Okay. So, as an MCU fan, I am a little biased on my opinions on Thor. I love it. But I will also say that, yes, it's technically the third in a quote-unquote trilogy of Thor movies, but it's also like the 17th or 18th. I don't even know how many movies they have now. in a saga of Marvel movies. Like,
Very true. Yes, of course.
it is. Well, continue, and we'll get into that.
Okay, my main thought process, well, it's not the fucking Avengers. You know, it's not the whole team together, which is going to bring more people because that's all the solo people like me. Being a Batman fan, I'm likely to go see Justice League, but not go see Wonder Woman because I'm not a huge fan of Wonder Woman, right? That's kind of the way I was looking at it. So I was like, Jesus Christ, Justice League isn't pulling that much, but Thor is. That's some shit. And I went and saw Thor, and I could see why. Holy shit. Now, I have to agree with Casual. Dude, you're right. Holy shit, could we lay off on the fucking lame jokes? Holy shit. It was pathetic. Like, the whole, like, the first moment was a joke. And I was like, that's funny. He's talking to a skeleton. That's funny. Then he drops down. He's hanging from the chain. He's spinning around. And he does the whole joke of, oh, hold on, I can't see you. Spins around, talks. I'm like, oh, you're going to do it, aren't you? And they're talking. All of a sudden, oh, hold on, I have to do it again. I swear I'm not doing this. And does it the same fucking joke 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem that they seem to be like, the first few movies in the MCU had just about the right mix of joke versus drama. Mm-hmm. Then, right around the time Guardians of the Galaxy came out, it was a lot more comedic stuff, but it still had a great mix. And the problem is, people got this impression somewhere along the line that, oh, they just want more jokes. So we got Guardians 2, we have Thor Ragnarok, even Spider-Man at times was a little bit too much, though they toned it down. Like if they had made a joke during the car scene, I would have been like, okay, guys, it's time to tone it down. But they didn't, so that was good. But yeah, we're seeing a trend right now in the MCU where it's joke, drama, joke. You know, give us some time to enjoy the drama.
Now I'm gonna go ahead, buddy.
Quick little side note. What's that you say, Casual? Hollywood learning the wrong lessons.
Well, you got
Always.
a point. Now I'm going to tell you something that's probably going to bother you, Casual. I was talking to the gal. I was like, all right, before I go to see this movie, what do you think about the new Thor? Do you like it? Is it good? She went, honestly, I love it because they made it a lot more funny. It's not so drama-filled. So is it they're learning the right lessons and we're just the wrong people? Or are they learning the wrong lessons and there's a very vocal minority?
I think it's the fact. First of all, the last 2 Thors were too drama filled, so I can agree with that. Like Thor 1 and 2, especially 2. I mean, they all have their little jokey moments, but Thor 1 was all about him losing the hammer and not being worthy and having to get it back, and it was...
That's only one I've seen. I still haven't seen the second one, and I loved how drama-filled it was. I thought it was perfect. They had some comedic parts, like the smashing of the coffee cup, getting hit by the bus. Those parts were fucking hilarious.
But those are small moments that you tend to forget about in a larger scale, where you're like, oh, yeah, this movie feels like it's all drama. And then Thor, The Dark World was even more so.
Oddly enough, that scene with the coffee cup is the most memorable scene of the entire movie for me.
Well, that's also problematic of Thor in general, and why people think that Thor Ragnarok, and again, kind of rightly so, is a big departure in a good way. I would say that one of the things that I enjoyed about Thor Ragnarok was that it was a comedy first.
And it felt cartoony, dude. It felt very, very cartoony, and that's what I didn't like about it. I liked the original Thor. I love the fact that it was so serious and was just... it was just so into itself. It took itself too seriously, and I loved that. Of course, I'm a Batman fan. I like the brooding. I like the,
He loves the darkness, no
Yeah.
parents.
Yeah, unfortunately, speaking of that, holy shit. But
Yeah, but I mean,
I loved it.
but I know that, but that works with Batman, with it being like largely like in quotation marks, grounded in kind of more realistic villains,
Yeah.
more psychological based villains. But with Thor, the guy leaves his home world is literally you have to get there via a rainbow bridge. How can you like really
You got
take
a
that
point.
too seriously?
You got a point. You know what? You're absolutely right. You are. But it's just the first Thor is what sold me on Thor. I was never a huge Thor fan until I saw the very first movie. I was like, I love the tone of this. It's so cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the newest Thor Ragnarok was bad. It's fucking great. It's amazing. I loved it. But it just felt too cartoony.
Well, they're going for that though. It's kind of hard to follow completely, but there is an interesting dynamic to the Marvel movies that movies. What am I? Anyway,
Yes.
there's an interesting dynamic to these movies that is I only started noticing recently, where they're almost theming these movies based on decades. Like the first few movies, they didn't really do that. They were just doing whatever they did. But then Captain America was themed like it was actually done in the 40s. And Iron Man 3 and Captain America Winter Soldier had an almost 70s vibe. And we're kind of entering into a phase with Guardians 2 and Thor Ragnarok and even Spider-Man to a degree, because they had the whole 80s themed homecoming dance in Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
It's the 80s. Like it feels like they're trying to capture the feel of a decade as they progress through the movies. And I kind of like that, like we're getting next and it makes me wonder, because Captain Marvel is supposed to be set in the 90s. So are we going to get the darker 90s themes coming up?
Oh.
I
That'd
think
make me
the
happy.
90s we're going to get like the pastels and the horrible stuff.
I just hope they don't go like the whole like 90s extreme.
Well,
Everything with an X.
this is where you guys are gonna hate me. I loved the '90s because of that. It was just fun. It was like, hence why I loved Carnage. Carnage was so much fun. He still is fun. I hope
Gigantic muscles and endless shoulder pads.
there was something fun about that style of movie making and just something fun about it. And I hope they touch on it some. That'd be a lot of fun to me.
Well, whatever the case, I think we can.
I
all
love
agree.
that everybody's like, sure, Stacy, sit down and shut up. Jesus Christ.
I think we can all agree that Thor Ragnarok is probably one of the better movies in the MCU. But
Oh yeah. By
here's
far.
the thing that I can't really like most of the time when I watch a movie, I can kind of be mostly non-biased. Even if I love the other movies in a franchise, I can sit there and go, I'm going to be critical of this movie because I am always critical. I've seen too many movies to not be. But I have to be honest, with this particular one, I'm not sure if it's that good if you've never seen any of the other MCU movies.
Well, I guess I'm at kind of a good place to talk about that because I've only watched a few of them. A very, very, very. I've seen the first Thor. I've seen the first Avengers. What else have I seen? I watched
You
half.
watched Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Yes, that was a good one. I watched Captain America, chunks of it, and I had to walk away vomiting from time to time because the Boy Scout got to be a bit too much. I'm trying to think
Saw
what
John
else.
Wick.
It has nothing to do with the MCU. Fuck off.
He's totally an Avenger. Come on. He's the dark and brooding Avenger that nobody talks about.
God damn it. That's all I could think of for actual MCU.
Okay.
Can I look at this and enjoy this without the rest of MCU? You're goddamn right. It's fun.
Okay.
It's so much fun. It's a fun movie. Do I look at it as way too much, way too cartoony? Goddamn right. Does that put a bit of a bad taste in my mouth? You're absolutely right. But if I knew it was cartoony walking in, would I still go see it? Fuck yes. Because it's good. It's fun. There's something for everyone. I'm actually kind of surprised that they didn't add some of the love story, because that's what every fucking comic book fucking movie has to have, apparently.
Yes. Okay. I want to comment on that. So
I'm glad that it wasn't in there.
So especially MCU. Now, this is a thing in the comics too. They have to have the love story, because honestly, when Stan Lee and the rest of those guys were creating this stuff, they were creating love stories, and it just so happens that they were creating them involving spandex-clad, colorful characters that punch bad guys.
Yep.
What I liked about this particular movie, and something that they were actually going to do at the time, was the character of Valkyrie, who is a main female lead in the movie, was going to be the new love interest for Thor. Because every movie has to have the love interest for the main character. And somewhere along the line, the writer or director or something just realized that there was no way to fit the love story in and have the rest of the story they wanted to tell. So on a very strange day where hell was starting to see a little frost on it, we got a movie that doesn't have a love story at all. And I think it works. It's about time,
I think this is something we've talked about in the past too, especially with me being really disliking the love story and then wanting to watch the action. That's it. It's fucking wonderful. It's a great breath of fresh air to finally go, hey, look, it's not always about, oh, look how beautiful her dress is. It's about, hey, this is a great fucking story. This is a great action flick. There's comedy in it, yeah, but it's a great flick without having to go, oh, I think her name was Jane, wasn't it?
Yeah, Jane Foster.
Yeah, Jane Foster.
For once, it's not him and Jane like, oh, I love you. Fuck you. I don't give a fuck. Go fuck off screen. I don't give a shit. Kick the shit out of some big guys. I mean, Christ's sake.
I also would like to point out, though, that I do like the love story stuff when it's done right. And this is kind of the key. In the MCU, they are doing it right. For example, Pepper Potts and Tony Stark.
Okay, yes.
Iron Man and... Okay, so she could have ended up just like every other character, just kind of falling to the wayside, never being mentioned again. But what they are doing with them is they're progressing that relationship it's not the main story, it's just they're progressing. You
get to watch how the two of them work together and get to see how the tandem works and not just the main fucking story.
And they're not breaking up because she's not on screen anymore. They're actually getting engaged and probably going to get married. And they're doing it rather than focusing on that particular part of the story in the movie that we only have 2 hours to explore. They're just doing it kind of, here's a little one-shot scene, and here's how their relationship is progressing, but here's back to the action,
Mm-hmm.
With Thor, I even said what they should do is just break Jane and Thor up off screen. And they did. Like in one of the scenes, slight spoilers for people that haven't seen it, Thor is talking to either
it was Loki.
Banner, or was it Loki?
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, he's talking to him about, whatever, and Jane comes up and he says, Loki says something about, well, it's about time she broke up with you or whatever. And Thor, in classic Thor style, says, she didn't break up with me. I broke up with her.
Well,
and you get this expression from Loki that's like, yeah, sure, buddy. And it's great because it was a good comedic moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it ended that relationship that we knew kind of wasn't going anywhere on multiple levels, from a movie perspective, from a story perspective, from, actors' perspective. They closed that door in a great, 10-second conversation.
Yep. I have to say, though, from only seeing the first one, not the second one, I really did enjoy her being part of the story because it gave him some connection to Earth and wanting to protect Earth even more. But that's really the only part of it I liked, is that it gave him a reason to always come back to Earth. And I loved how it was with Earth with him,
Yeah, and that makes sense. So speaking of box office, as you were earlier, so currently, without actual numbers, this is all estimates because the movie just came out.
Yeah.
Justice League is at 96 million, which is not bad. That's in the U.S. That's not a bad release. That's
but
that is what it is.
I have to ask, do you know what Thor was?
Thor was 122 million.
God damn, that's sad.
Now here's the other difference I'd like to point out. When I pre-ordered my tickets for Thor online, the theater was almost sold out. By the time it was actually out, it was sold out. Last week, I was thinking, well, there's not really anything in the theaters I want to watch, but I want to go see a movie. And I opened up the thing to go see Thor again. Thor was sold out last weekend, 2 days in a row.
Really?
Already. Because I was going to see a Friday showing, there wasn't anything. I went to see a Saturday showing, there wasn't anything. When I went to purchase Justice League tickets, there was every seat available, and when I actually saw it, it was maybe half full.
Oh God,
that's a bad sign, man. That's the worst thing for me is being a fucking DC fan. I'm like, would you guys get your shit together? I want something to be proud of, man. Because, and I have not seen it yet. I know, Robbie, you haven't seen it either yet, right? Correct?
No, I'm probably going to see it not tomorrow, but the day after.
And I believe, Rad, you haven't seen it either?
That would be correct.
Okay, so Casual, be nice to us, please. But the things I've heard is, and this is the exact quote from someone who I really respect when it comes to movies, Aaron Goodwin, by the way. I don't know if you know who he is by chance.
I don't.
Have you ever seen the show Ghost Adventures? The goofy, bald guy? Okay, he's huge into movie making. I really respect him, though. He said...
by the way, we're looking for a sponsor.
Yeah, there we go. Went to go see... I was watching Snapchat. He's like, I just got out of Justice League. He's rubbing his head going, oh, Wonder Woman, you did a great job, but fucking Affleck, god damn it. Oh, you fucked it up. Oh, and he could not get off of how bad Affleck was for Batfleck. Like, Batfleck
Really?
destroyed Justice League was his exact quote.
Okay, that's kind of worrying because when it comes to Batman v Superman, Batfleck was probably one of the best parts of it.
I disagree with that. I don't think... First of all, I want to say that Justice League is not a bad movie. It's not like Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman that had editing issues and story problems, etc.
Listen, when you say Suicide Squad, you're setting that bar really fucking low. So, I mean, I can go make a movie right now and have that leap over that bar, okay?
I realize that, but, okay. Right now, the bar is set very low in the DC connected universe, whatever they're calling it. Man of Steel and Justice League are going to be around the same level in terms of overall divisiveness combined with just general story and quality.
Okay.
I think Wonder Woman is the top of the bar, and honestly, they're not even reaching the lower levels of Marvel in terms of the quality. Because while Wonder Woman was a great movie, it suffered pretty heavily from third act loud noises and flashy effects. Like the entire third act was the standard fare. Then you have Suicide Squad at the very bottom and Batman v Superman just marginally above it. Justice League is not a bad movie, though. It is arguably a fine movie. Like it's an acceptable experience considering that we have never had the Justice League as a movie in all the years that they've been trying to make a Justice League movie, because they've been trying to make Justice League as a movie since the first Superman in 78, I think.
I believe first Superman was 78.
Yeah, so like once Superman hit and everybody was like, oh my god, Superman, because as the original poster tagline said, you will believe a man can fly. They've been trying to figure out a way to do the Justice League somehow. And it's never come together for all kinds of reasons. Like, how do we do the special effects? How do we do this? How do we do that? We live in the time period now where they can do pretty much anything.
Yep.
We can do anything with visual effects now. We can de-age people. We can age them up properly looking. We can do flying guys, fast guys, strong guys, we can go to other planets. Anything a person can imagine can be done in film. The problem is that Justice League is the thinnest plot of all time. Like it's, you just recently saw John Wick.
Yep.
That was a very thin plot,
to say the least.
It was a revenge tale. Justice League is thinner than that. It is...
That's a movie that needs a very, very, very thick plot. That's something that needs the stitching, especially the fact that DC is going, well, fuck, we got to catch up with Marvel. We got to put all the movies out at once, so we're just going to put the big clump one out.
That is the problem. Right there. The fact that they were trying to... Now, keep in mind that Justice League was in production before Wonder Woman came out. So a lot of people were like, oh, Wonder Woman was good, so we're going to get a better Justice League. No, that's the problem. It was already in the process. So what we're getting is the previous generation of DC movies trying to fix itself in the middle of being made.
Yes, we're in a transition period.
Yes, and I will say that I have hope for the future of DC movies because they have seen that they're doing things wrong and they were trying to fix Justice League. They did, in my opinion, fix it with Wonder Woman. I think going forward from here, we're probably going to see better DC movies. But the biggest problem I had with Justice League is that it needs the 6-movie setup that the Avengers had.
Yeah.
It needs that, and it didn't get that. It feels like the 12th movie in a franchise that only has 2 movies that set it up. And I'm not counting Wonder Woman or Suicide Squad because they don't do anything to set this movie up. So the only 2 movies that have any connection to this is Man of Steel, tangentially, because Superman, and Batman v Superman because Batman v Superman is the... So really, it's only Batman v Superman setting up this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, like with Batman v Superman, I just felt like I was walking in at the middle, like I'd missed a good chunk of a few movies.
Yeah,
so I'm guessing I'm going to feel the same with this when I go to see it.
It will not only feel the same with this, it'll feel like had it been more of a direct sequel to Batman v Superman, I would have been like, well, okay, fine. But it feels like, you're already missing like 3 movies with Batman v Superman, and then when it comes to this movie, it feels like you missed 3 more movies in between.
Also, I felt like Batman v Superman should have come after this movie. Like, just because like the whole like basic Batman v Superman is Captain America: Civil War, basically, and I feel like they should like maybe because like that came after Avengers. I feel like this should have come after. Like, it feels like Justice League should be the first movie where they all team up, and then at some point they disagree on something and then should fight. It shouldn't be like, oh, we fight, but now we've made up. And now we team up.
Yeah, and again, I have to stress it's not a bad movie, but it's only going to be enjoyed like the standard moviegoer that just goes to see a movie because, hey, it's a movie. They're going to be confused and probably walk out going, man, I wish I wouldn't have spent that money. The DC fan is probably going to love this movie because it's got everything you want from the characters you love, with the exception of Cyborg. Spoilers, Cyborg doesn't look any better in the movie than he did in the trailers. He looks like shit.
Cyborg's always looked like shit, though, since the first time
Well,
he's created person.
Cyborg's a really hard character to do, though. Like, I know we have the technology for it, but you got to get it right.
But does anybody remember Pixel Man?
No.
I didn't think so. He looks like Pixel Man, and Pixel Man was a creation of the PS2 era because Nintendo had every mascot, and nobody understood what, or no, not Pixel Man, Polygon Man. That's what it was. Polygon Man. Oh, it was so bad.
I'm assuming a lot of what it is because when there's a lot of action, people are moving quite fast and there's a bit of motion blur. And with Cyborg being as complicated a looking character as it is, it just looks like a hot mess of metal.
Actually, it's worse than that because he's not really moving fast in most of the scenes. Throughout the movie, he like dresses in like a hoodie and sweatpants, and I wish he would have stayed in the hoodie and sweatpants.
Yeah, my main problem with Cyborg, from the trailers at least, was he was way too skinny. I'm much more used to like the big bulky Cyborg that you see in like the Teen Titans cartoon.
I agree.
Yeah. Like had they made him look like the Teen Titans cartoon, I would have been like, okay, because at least even though the Teen Titans version is a little bit cartoony, it doesn't look like crap, and he just looks like crap. Now, there is another issue, and that is that the CGI definitely didn't have time to render in this movie. There's a lot of weird face issues. I can't get into it for spoiler reasons, but
Okay.
yeah, you'll. It's weird. It's like it's distractingly weird when you start to see some of these face issues. It's like, what? Why? It's one of those things where you go, maybe you should have pushed this movie back to next year and let it render some.
I'm looking forward to this now.
Jesus, Robbie,
Yeah,
I want to see a train wreck, man.
I'm not. It's not a train wreck though. That's the thing. Like, okay, so the super thin plot, and I'm not really spoiling anything because it gets right to it. Bad guy comes. Team has to be formed to defeat bad guy.
Yeah.
Then they fight the bad guy for the last hour of the movie. I am not joking about that. This is the longest overall fight, like protracted fight. Like, it's not one single fight, but like most movies split a few fight sequences up with some in-between scenes where they do plot stuff. Mm-hmm. This is just bad guy comes, team has to form to defeat bad guy. That's the first 30 minutes. The last hour and a half is fight the bad guy.
And you know what? That sounds like a perfectly fine movie to me.
And that's why I say for DC fans, that have wanted Justice League for years, this is going to sate your appetite until they eventually do a good Justice League movie.
Like,
I'm just glad. Go on, Red.
for example, Batman v Superman. We all agree it's not a good movie. However, I enjoyed it because it gave me exactly what I was looking for from a movie like that, and I was fine with it.
I couldn't be fine with it because of Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just
you just cut that part out and we're fine. But on the whole, it was actually I enjoyed it.
Like, I didn't even mind the whole Martha thing. Everybody harps on, the stupid Martha plot. Okay, whatever. Comic books do that all the time. That doesn't bother me. But
yeah, they do.
But Lex Luthor, his portrayal. Ugh. He does not make an appearance. Spoilers. In Justice.
I like how they try to get around it after the fact by saying, "Oh no, he's Lex Luthor Jr."
That doesn't help anything.
Well, then where the fuck's Daddy at? You know, it's
just get Clancy Brown to be Lex Luthor Sr. We're good.
Clancy Brown, who's that?
He was the voice of Lex Luthor.
Oh,
in
okay.
Animated series.
Jesus,
I'm just glad with Justice League they didn't go straight for Darkseid, because I feel like with obviously the first movie was going to be terrible given how the rest of the DC movies turned out, but I didn't want them to like fuck up Darkseid that badly. I still kind of have hope that when they eventually get to Darkseid, which I don't know if they're going to do it in Justice League 2 or 3.
Well, there's debate as to whether or not they're going to do so. Let's talk about the Marvel and DC universe. At Marvel, from its very inception, like as a comic book company, had this idea, because at the time when DC Comics wasn't even called DC Comics, it was called something else.
It was called Timely Comics.
Okay. Batman was in its own thing. Superman was over here. Wonder Woman was over there. You know, they were all separate parts of... They were all in their own, comics. Mm-hmm. Marvel's inception, the idea behind Marvel when Stan Lee and the rest of them created it was, we want superheroes to exist in the same world. Now, because most of them were from New York and they were all doing everything from New York, they also happen to have all their superheroes from New York. They've kind of fixed that over time. They actually...
the major invasions take place in New York.
Yes, but that being said, when they started the whole MCU thing, it was the same deal. They had done a few like Spider-Man over here and the X-Men over there, but somebody at Marvel said, we want to do the exact same thing in the movies that we originally did in our comics. And so from that genesis is part of the reason that I think it succeeded, because they weren't... First of all, they were the first. After the MCU started working, everybody else and their dog was like, we have to do connected universes. Hanna-Barbera, connected universe. Monster, connected universe. Hasbro... No. Not everything has to be a connected universe. Now, I do like the idea that DC wants to do connected universe, but here's the inherent flaw. DC started late because Green Lantern sucked. If they had started at the same time that the MCU did, it would have been better for them. But the secondary problem is that, like we've said before, they're trying to catch up. And they're trying to do it too fast. And the movies that they're making... I mean... Justice League feels like a movie that we've already seen because Marvel already did it. And that's...
Once again, this makes me depressed as being a DC fan that I am, you know? It's sad. I guess maybe I'm a bad DC fan because of the fact that I really don't like the Boy Scout, but, God, there's two Boy Scouts. Both sides have a Boy Scout, and I tend to name them both Boy Scout.
Well,
the caped Boy Scout and the shielded Boy Scout. How about that? It's just it's disappointing. Very disappointing. I'm going to see it eventually. I will one day see it. It's just
it's far more. Let me put it this way: it is far more worthwhile to see than Suicide Squad or Batman v Superman. It's a good movie to see and go, oh, Justice League finally, and then just kind of in the back of your mind hope that they're going to do a good one at some point, like a really good one.
Yeah, I think I'm going to like it more going in with a lower expectations than I would with a higher one.
I will say there are some spoiler moments that I'm not going to talk about that you will probably like. I liked it when I saw it. I was like, okay, I like this, even though from a plot perspective, but again.
As long as they don't make Wonder Woman the centerpiece of the entire movie, I think I'll be fine. Ugh.
I not spoiler, but spoiler, no one is the centerpiece.
That's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine.
They do a good job of making it a true ensemble.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
I have heard a couple reviews that said that Cyborg was only just really there. He didn't do anything, but I didn't get
comic books, he was just there. He was always just a meh character.
but I didn't get that impression in the movie. I felt that every character had their part to play. And then they did the last hour, and it was just punching the bad guy over and over again, and it was like, okay, I'm kind of over it.
Jesus.
Yeah, I definitely I think I'd like it with going with lower expectations. I had fairly high expectations for Thor, so I don't think I liked it as much as I would have.
That's fair enough. I mean, they kind of built up those expectations.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, what it is to do is I need to stop watching trailers a lot, and that's a hard thing for me.
Oh, for sure. Like when I went to see Thor, I actually had to put my fingers in my ears and go la 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 because they were showing a new Last Jedi trailer. And I am actively avoiding anything new about that movie. I want to see it like I've seen one trailer, the one they showed months ago where the voiceover of Luke Skywalker says the Jedi have to end. And that sold me, and I have avoided every trailer since.
Yeah, that's probably for the best, because I haven't, and I think I should.
You know what's funny? Is we saw the same exact trailer, and here's Pink in the movie theater going, Jesus Christ, enough with Star Wars, I'm getting bored of it. And I heard at least 3 people go in the theater go, yeah, fucking right, seriously. And I was just like, at least I'm not the only one. It's just like, okay, we get it. We get it. Star Wars is coming. We get it. No. They're just going to drop this humongous franchise and walk away laughing. Of course they're going to make another Star Wars.
And that's kind of my point when it comes to, like, I get it when you're making a brand new movie, you have to sell it.
Yep.
For example, we all know who The Rock is.
Stop, don't, please.
And
I had a migraine and an impacted bowel from hearing about this yesterday and talking about it. I don't want to have another bloody stool because of you.
And those movies are kind of hit and miss lately. It used to be that if The Rock was in a movie, it was a guaranteed sell. Like, Rock's in a movie, it'll make $100, $200, $500 million, whatever.
I told you, The Rock is the modern day Schwarzenegger. Tons of terrible movies with good ones in between.
Yes, and the other guy, Vin Diesel, is the modern Stallone. Same basic deal. And they're both competing and all of that stuff. And the only difference, though, is that Stallone and Schwarzenegger always had a friendly relationship. And apparently Vin Diesel and The Rock don't. But that's behind the scenes stuff.
That's for the gossip podcasts.
So this new movie that I saw a trailer for when I went to see Justice League, and I've heard of this movie before. Like I've heard, I knew that The Rock was going to be in it, and I was like, okay, that's weird. There's lots of video games. There's lots of video game movies. I don't think this movie is going to be one of the ones that finally breaks the cycle of bad video game movies. Rampage.
Okay.
When
Okay. First,
Take it away, Stacy.
are you fucking kidding me? You inbred fucks. Jesus
FYI,
H. Christ, yes.
when I first saw the trailer, I didn't know it was a video game movie because I've never played the game Rampage.
Really?
I'm not that
for
old.
For those that don't know what Rampage is, allow me to explain the vast plot of Rampage, the video game. You select your character, which is a King Kong-like character, a giant Godzilla-like character, or what was the other one?
The wolf type character.
That's it, a giant wolf character. We don't know why he's giant, but who cares? And you smash buildings and eat people, and tanks try and kill you, and planes try and kill you.
Okay.
And eventually you die, but you don't really die. You fall to the ground, and you shrink down into a little sprite person who covers their genitals and side saddles off the screen.
Okay, so
and it's hilarious.
You were a transformed human into this humongous creature. You weren't just a wolf that was transformed. You weren't just a gorilla that had an alien fucking thing come smack into it and go, oh, look, I'm a big gorilla now. I'm going to destroy shit just because, oh, look, a building. I'm pissed.
I saw some comments that were like, "Oh my god, they whitewashed the gorilla."
I saw that, yep. I saw that. I was like, yes. Somebody said that in my chat yesterday, too. I started cackling when I saw that.
It is an albino gorilla. I don't know why they decided to go that direction. They didn't have to. I think, well, no. I think the reason they probably did that is because King Kong is, like, sort of successful right now, and they don't want to be associated with King Kong, even though this is just King Kong with a giant wolf and whatever.
But anyway,
The big thing about this movie that they absolutely have to have, or it's a complete failure. One of them has to try and grab a TV that is currently on and get electrocuted.
Yep, if they don't, movie's dead.
No. What they have to do is one of them has to, upon, quote, death or unconsciousness, turn back into a human, completely naked, cover their genitals, and side saddle off screen.
Looking at screenshots of this game, I'm kind of wishing that they hadn't. I'm kind of wishing that they had gone with more the closer of the game design, so the wolf is actually like a wolf man rather than just a werewolf.
I'll be honest, my first experience with this franchise was on the Nintendo 64 Rampage World Tour.
My first experience was on the regular NES.
Yeah, it goes back a long ways.
Oh, it was fun.
Mine was the actual arcade cabinet.
Really?
I played the crap out of it. It was fun wrecking the buildings.
Right, it was fun because it was a very loosely based that you were transformed from a human to this big monster, you destroyed shit, all of a sudden, and the game's over. It was fun, but who the fuck went and like, you know what we could do? Hold on. You know what we could do here? Hand me the bong. You know what would be a great movie is if we turn this into a... Yeah, let's take that Rampage game... and turn it into a movie. This would be great. Hence why it's being released on 4/20. Can we guess who the fucking audience is supposed to be?
Little inside baseball here. When something is popular, movie studios immediately grab up that something. And they begin the process of trying to turn that popular thing into a movie because it's popular. Here's the problem with the way that works. The problem is, usually the things that are popular are only popular for a year or two. Mm-hmm. Maybe 3. The time it takes to go from grabbing a license to actually getting the movie even started and finally finished is sometimes upwards of 5 to 8 years, if not more. So when this movie was grabbed up, it was grabbed up at a time when retro games were popular, I assume. I don't know why they grabbed this, to be honest, but it's dead on arrival. Like, this is one of those things. I think the only people that are going to go to the theater to see it are people maybe like me, I don't know yet, that just want to go see what the train wreck is.
That, and they also left the bong out in the parking lot before they came in. I'm sorry, dude. You have to be so fucking baked that to make this movie fun. I can already tell.
Absolutely.
I would also say I'd be willing to put money that the same people that came up with this movie also came up with the movie based on a board game, Battleship.
Oh God!
It's possible.
Train wreck that was. That's a funny thing. I remember I was watching the trailer, dude, and I was going, "Where the fuck's Lizzie? What the fuck?" And all of a sudden, you hear Rock and his infinite wisdom and that brilliant voice of his go, "Only thing I thought was missing was a fucking." Oh my God! Only thing we're missing was a gigantic crocodile. I was like, "You fucking cunt! It was an iguana, you son of a bitch!" And that's when I stopped. Went, "Oh my God! I played this game too much when I was a kid." Well, because let's stop and think about it. This was my logic. Pink looked at me awkwardly. I'm guessing you guys will too. A crocodile, no matter what size, a baby crocodile to a full-grown crocodile looks fucking creepy. They look scary no matter what. An iguana looks friendly until you make it the size of a house, and then it's gonna be terrifying, right?
They already tried the giant iguana. Try Godzilla 98.
Oh, God. I hate it when you're right, because God damn it, you're right with that, aren't you? You son of a bitch. God damn it, you're right. Okay,
Although,
you know what?
Ralph was always my favorite.
Oh, God, this fucking movie. I'm sorry. I actually got almost violent when I saw the trailer. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, that's the thing about movies. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. Now, let me ask a question for those of us in here that are nerds. That would be all of us. What is the best superhero movie of all time?
To me, I would say Dark Knight.
That's a hard question for me.
Oh, it would be between Dark Knight Begins and Dark Knight, but it'd be a fight between those two for me.
I would say I have three. The Dark Knight, Man of Steel, yes, I said it, and The Incredibles.
I hate you so much.
Which one had Jim Carrey as the Riddler?
Oh,
Batman Forever.
Robbie.
Robbie, get out! You're bad for the podcast. Jesus. Now,
So,
why'd you have to bring this movie up too? Now it's gonna be another one I'm gonna be forced to watch because of my children.
I tend to agree with I think that I honestly like Batman Begins better than the Dark Knight, but I tend to agree that from a certain perspective, that's one of the better ones. I think that The Avengers is one of the best team superhero movies.
Oh yeah,
but The Incredibles is probably the best Fantastic Four movie that's ever been made, which is a shame because they've had 3 Fantastic Four movies and 1 Incredibles movie.
Can we enjoy the pure humor of your statement?
I'm sorry, 4 Fantastic Four movies.
Oh yeah.
Here's the thing. The Incredibles is finally getting a sequel. Now, this is not super big news because it's been in the works for a while. A lot of people thought that it was going to be the end of The Incredibles. Spoilers for a movie that's over 20 years old. A mole man-like character pops out of the ground, and it was a callback to a classic Fantastic Four storyline. And everybody said, "Oh, that's the sequel." No, that was just a silly callback that somebody who clearly was creating the Fantastic Four made. But I've seen the teaser. Rad, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
30s. Okay. It features Jack Jack because everybody likes babies with superpowers. It's funny. And it just kind of, oh look, let's make Jack Jack even more overpowered than he was at the end of the Incredibles movie. They're basically turning him into Franklin Richards.
I have to wonder, like, what exactly is his power? Is he just a shapeshifter?
Okay, Jack Jack's powers, as we know them so far. He has eye lasers. He can phase through walls. He can transform into solid metal.
He's solid fire, apparently.
Yep, the Human Torch. And he can also turn into a raging demon.
And that's
what
just
we know
what so far. Now, there is a theory on that. The theory is, and this is a fan theory because nothing's been confirmed from anything we've seen about The Incredibles. The theory is that super children in this universe, like children that have superpowers, they don't solidify on a power until they reach a certain age.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which does kind of make sense. Like they're a kid, they have super genes in them, but for whatever reason they haven't picked one. It's a little weird, but hey,
it's like their super genes have a lot of powers. Then as they grow up, it naturally goes to you're going to have super strength. They just kind of grow into whatever power they're going to have.
Right, and then they get appropriately named later when somehow Dash is fast, and anyway.
It kind of makes better sense rather than like a woman who's elastic and a man who's super strong somehow make a boy that's super fast and a girl that can turn herself invisible.
Right, it does kind of make sense. Maybe as Dash was growing up, he just... maybe the name itself caused him to be fast because they kept calling him Dash. Who knows?
I remember watching this with the kids. I was like, it's just a joke upon kid. Like mom always has to be everywhere so she can stretch. Dad is, the stereotype for a dad is always super strong dad. The teenage girl always wants to turn invisible.
Also that. Yes, it was also that. It was kind of like taking traits from a typical family, making them super. But here's the thing.
There's a lot of porn with that mom. A lot.
God,
thank you for bringing that up.
Now I have to look. Thanks, Robbie. What was her name?
Here's the thing about the sequel idea that pretty much universally fans of the movie have had in their mind, and that is that the original movie kind of took place in the 60s. Like the opening part was like the 50s, then the meat of the movie where the rest of the plot took place was kind of the 60s. This is taken into effect from the way the things were styled, architecture, cars, clothing, even the very James Bond-like themes that the movie was trying to portray were from classic 60s James Bond. So most people, myself included, thought that a sequel would be perfectly done by aging all the characters up and setting it in like the 70s or 80s. The Violet's now in college or the workforce, Dash is going into high school himself, whatever. This trailer puts that all into question and makes me wonder, why are we getting another movie where they're all the same age?
It throws it into doubt, yes, but it doesn't exactly come out and say it's right after the first movie.
That is also true, and I'm hoping that that's more true. I'm hoping that the trailer or the teaser is just a teaser and ha ha ha, and then fast forward, but I'm worried now.
I'm thinking that maybe they want to do like we have to deal with a baby that's developing superpowers now, kind of.
I hope not, because honestly, I don't care about how he develops his superpowers or whatever. I don't know if it's more like developing the superpowers. I think it's more like them having to deal with, because I think it's like a classic. Parents have to deal with a baby
but this time they have superpowers kind of story. I don't know. No.
Man of Steel already did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my other problem is they've already kind of done that in other shows, and it's like, I mean, I reserve judgment until I see another trailer that has more to it, because really the first teaser was just Jack doing weird things, but
I am looking forward to the ICU, the Incredibles cinematic universe.
I got to be honest, I would totally accept that because I want more Frozone.
Where's my super suit?
You ever see the memes of Obama after that asking Michelle, "Where's my super suit?"
God damn it.
You
I
okay
love you
there,
guys.
Stacey?
Here's the problem. It's because I was an idiot, and I decided to listen to Robbie and go, well, I have to search it now, and I did.
See, you don't, though.
Yeah, I did, though. And here's...
But you know, Robbie, you don't have to.
I decided it'd be a great idea to search it on DuckDuckGo.com, and I have safe search turned off, and the first thing that pops up is, what was the black superhero?
Frozone.
Frozone, thank you. Frozone and the mom. I was like, oh, yep, Robbie's right. And then I go down a little bit further, and that's when the eye bleach needed to come in because... Robbie, how do I say this properly?
It's not safe for work.
This isn't safe for humanity, man. There's some shit that I'm just like, this breaks the rules of the internet. How is this even allowed to exist? Who the fuck?
I
think some of this breaks some laws as well.
Right?
Well, it's like, how do you get the Ninja Turtles, in a modern video game? How is that allowed to exist?
The Ninja
Rad,
Turtles as a
can we just give them a real quick, guys? Transition.
Segue.
That, ladies and gentlemen, this is me trying to protect you from what Stacey was about to describe.
And we appreciate that. We're moving past it. We're going to Ninja Turtles. Here's the thing. Ninja Turtles are dumb. Like, from their very inception, they were intentionally, in the original Eastman and Laird comics, meant to be dumb. But they were also meant to be a commentary on all kinds of things. Like, they were a commentary on violence, they were a commentary on superheroes, they were a commentary on whatever was going on at the time.
Oh yeah, the original Turtle comics were bloody as fuck.
Yes. Then somehow somebody at a TV studio who was involved in kids' cartoons saw the Ninja Turtles and said, that would make a great cartoon. And we got a kiddie fight version of it ever since.
Yeah, and honestly, that's become like the more popular version. Which I don't know if that's good or bad, but...
have we come full circle, though? Because they're going to be in Injustice 2. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Injustice and Injustice 2 are made by the Mortal Kombat guys, and they are not really kid-friendly superhero fight.
That's...
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Injustice actually is. Now, Mortal Kombat, everybody, all you got to do is say Mortal Kombat, and people instantly know what that means. But the Injustice franchise doesn't have that, the fatalities and stuff like that. And that was from direct orders from DC.
It doesn't have the fatalities and stuff, but it's also not exact. Like, Street Fighter is colorful, bright, happy fighting. Like, it's... You punch people and you get like a splash of color and like, that's fun to punch people. Injustice may not have blood, but I've seen Injustice 2, like some people playing it early access and some other things. Because it looks more realistic, it feels more violent.
True.
Looking
Well,
at
you
images,
got to be
of-
accurate to Batman somehow.
Looking at the images of the Ninja Turtles, I honestly think they look more like the old school movie Ninja Turtles.
Right, which was honestly a much darker movie than the cartoon was.
Oh yeah, it was.
In fact, I still like that movie.
Did you like
Not-
number 2? How
not
about
the
number
sequels.
3?
I
No,
like the third
those
one.
were awful.
Like the time travel one.
I have a toy Michelangelo that was signed by the guy who played Donatello.
Wait.
Oh.
Hold on. It was a Michelangelo toy signed by the guy that played Donatello.
Yes.
You couldn't have found a fucking Donatello for this poor bastard to sign instead?
Well, excuse me for being less than 1 year old.
Oh, well. Fuck off.
And now Stacy feels like a dick.
But don't I feel like a dick?
No comment.
Well, there you go.
But yeah, so I mean, I personally don't really care for the Mortal Kombat franchise anymore. It's kind of dead to me. So I don't have a horse in this race, so to speak. But let me ask somebody that does like Injustice and is really looking forward to Injustice 2. Might already be out. I don't know.
Injustice 2 is already out.
It's been out for a while.
I already played it.
Do the turtles fit?
No.
But the fact that they don't fit is is actually why they fit. Where else can you have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fighting against Hellboy in the Batcave?
You know,
I don't know.
That-
Is there any like story reason why they're all together?
Do you need one?
A little
I don't know.
bit.
Well, why is Hellboy here? Why is Sub-Zero here?
Wait, Hellboy's in Injustice 2?
yeah.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. I don't know why.
might have to play it.
Yeah, Hellboy's in it. It's part. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are part of the next group of 3 characters. It'll be Enchantress, and Adam, ATO. You know, the guy who makes himself small.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's not like the Hank Pym not Hank Pym, fucking not like the Ray Palmer Adam. It's the new DC Rebirth Adam.
But still, it's a fighting game with a guy who can shrink himself down extremely tiny, mutant reptiles, a guy whose whole power is ice, and a literal demon from hell.
You got a point. You got a point. God damn it. I fucking hate you. You do got a very good point, though.
I just want to see Batman fighting a Ninja Turtle because I know that he's done crossover comics with them.
I guess right there is part of the reason why they fit now.
Mm.
Because the
Exactly.
So are they going to bring the aliens from Alien into it? Because both Batman and Superman have fought the aliens.
I think they brought the alien in Mortal Kombat, so I'm not.
Yeah, it was in Mortal Kombat.
I wouldn't be surprised
MKX.
if they did bring it into Injustice as well.
Next characters should be the Looney Tunes.
Oh,
Oh,
jeez. You're right. Elmer
No,
fucking Fudge shooting Batman
No.
in the face.
Hold on now. They do have a whole thing of Looney Tunes that have been superheroed from DC because they're both owned by the same company.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Duck-
could see that. Like Bugs Bunny shows up as Super Bunny and
Duck Dodgers.
Also,
Fucking
they
Duck
did.
Dodgers.
There was a crossover comic that DC did with the Justice League and Power Rangers, so that could be in the future as well.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Dear God, that this could be the craziest game of all time.
This could be the
Right?
best game of all time.
Right?
It just turns into Mugen at the end, with fucking Homer Simpson fighting
God damn
the
it.
Peter Griffin from Family Guy.
I would pay for a game with that. Fuck me, man.
You don't have to pay for a game like that. Mugen is an engine that you can download. It's like a fighting game engine that you can download all kinds of.
It's been free for like 50 years.
Fighters.
Yeah.
Oh, that one I see on Twitch all the... Okay, that fucking game. I actually didn't know how to pronounce it, so I was just like, oh, that fighting game. Oops. That I actually might play that if I get to whoop the shit out of people as, Peter Griffin, just because I would love to see Peter Griffin pick up the chicken and smash Homer Simpson across the face. Something about that would just be fun. There is another game I want to talk about, guys. It's a game that's near and dear to me because I'm a little too obsessed with it. And it just got a huge fucking update and something big that happened at its con. I'm talking about Minecraft. And I know some people here are burnt out on it, and for good reason. But I think this is exciting, and it's something new that will be fun for people that'll make it a little more exciting to play it, instead of it being just a block, place the block, do big kid Legos, yay. To actually be something more fun that'll make the battle systems a little more interesting, and or very least introduce new mechanics into it. First is a aquatic update, which will give you like shipwrecks to explore, stuff like that. It'll fucking add new fish. It'll add fucking dolphins, dude.
And tridents you can throw. You
Right,
can literally be Aquaman.
Dude, do you realize how cool that is? Come on, man. Casual. Don't leave me hanging. Jesus Christ, dude. It's like I gave you a high five and you're giving me the stink eye in the middle of a crowd just going, ugh, God, this creature. Are you not, is this not sound like very fun at all to you?
Not even remote.
Casual is not entertained.
Allow me to explain my disinterest in Minecraft at this point.
Okay.
So when it first came out, I was excited, like most people were. It eventually went full release, but it didn't really change. The problem with Minecraft is that there is no designer involved in Minecraft. It has no direction. Adding a new block or a new feature is not a direction. That's just adding a new thing to a game that doesn't have any design to it. When Microsoft bought out Mojang and took over Minecraft, I was actually hopeful. I thought either A, they would do Minecraft 2 and it would be better graphics, better everything, or B, they would give Minecraft a direction. That has not happened in, 2 or 3 years since Minecraft bought Mojang? Minecraft as a tool for having building blocks is fine. But considering that there are other games out there that have the exact same potential as Minecraft, but are prettier, bigger, like instead of just a world, you get a whole galaxy, and they have direction. They have like a story of some sort. They have a reason for being. They have better mechanics. Minecraft just didn't evolve, and this is no different. This is not an evolution. This is just adding another rock to the bottom of the pond.
I guess, but to me, that's the beauty of Minecraft, is the fact instead of it having to be beautiful, instead of it having to have an actual direction, you create the direction. Same reason why I felt Fallout New Vegas was by far the superior Fallout, because of the fact that you got to create your own adventure. You got to create what happens, and you get to decide what happens, instead of it being, big, overpowering video game company goes, well, this is your adventure. Well, I want to do this. Too fucking bad. There you go. I think that's why it's so cool.
I'm not even talking about a story. I'm talking about just any direction. Like at one point when Notch, I can't remember his real name.
I don't know it, to tell you the truth. I just know Notch.
When he actually did have an interest in Minecraft, because there was a time, he started creating things like the mushroom biomes and the, quote, magic system that eventually turned into the enchanting system that he had nothing to do with. He had a vision for it. Now, as we all know, Notch's visions tend to peter off and go away because he doesn't hold nothing holds his interest.
Well, he's the
And
kind of
now
guy who likes to create something, release it, and move on quickly to create new things because he loves creating.
Right, but my point is that nobody continued even that thread of a vision. They just, oh, well, the mushroom biome is out. Now we're going to go do something else. Now we're going to go do this. Now we're going to add this thing. But nothing connects. The game hasn't really evolved. It's just another new block. Let me put it another way. Modders have made better content for this game than the game has made for itself.
That's
Now,
actually
you
what I was
might-
going to bring up.
You might argue that, well, that's the point. But is it? And I would point to one game that I believe we've discussed before that has done it right in that they stopped main development on the Binding of Isaac after Birth Plus.
Mhm.
But there is a large mod community, and especially with Afterbirth Plus adding a whole mod-friendly thing to it, the mod community has, like, quadrupled or whatever. What they do now is every so often, they go into the mod community, they pick everybody's favorite mods and the ones that they think will work with the game, and they add it.
Well, that's
But they've-
something similar that Minecraft is doing. They're just bringing on the modders instead to develop for the game.
Okay, but
Prime
again,
example. Sorry, I'll jump in for a hot second. Prime example would be when Minecraft added horses. That was from a mod called Mo Creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
They got the mod developer to actually make it and code it into the actual game. Anyways, continue.
but again, the difference being is that the team that is involved in taking the mods and adding them into the Binding of Isaac, they aren't just doing that, and they aren't just adding the most popular ones. Because if they were doing that, there's a bunch of mods that they would have already added because they're still the most popular mods. They have a design theory to the Binding of Isaac. They have some sort of thing that they say, okay, this is our design. We need to keep whatever we're adding to the base game, we'll call it, still in keeping with those themes. In fact, they did a complete overhaul of some of the... Because prior to the last couple updates, they were just adding the mods just pretty much directly. The look of them and everything. They did an overhaul on even some of their old art assets recently that makes them, again, more in keeping with their design theory. Minecraft doesn't do that. Minecraft just, oh, let's just add this thing. Oh, let's just add this other thing. Nothing connects. It doesn't feel cohesive. And in order to get a game experience outside of the sandbox, and I agree it's one of the better sandbox games out there, you have to go to a mod pack that has, like, a theme to it, that has something you're looking for. I don't want that. I'd rather just get a different game that actually has some form of direction.
I can understand that. It's just I don't think that Minecraft was ever supposed to be that. I think comparing Binding of Isaac to Minecraft is kind of an unfair comparison because they just never were even close to being the same exact type of game. You know what I mean? They're drastically different. Excuse me. Like, I'm trying to figure out how to best describe this. Binding of Isaac had an exact mission. You know, you knew what the point of the game was. Where Minecraft, the whole point was just to explore, create, and make beautiful, cool contraptions and builds. So when you're going for a game like Minecraft, they did their mission quite positively. I think they did it exactly what was meant to be done, personally. I think they kicked major asshole. I think they destroyed at doing it. You know, I can't say enough good things about it because I think it was that good. When you say that the game had no direction and that it was just it feels like that nobody knows what the hell they're doing. I think it's still quite on direction. I think it's still quite what it's meant to be. Once again, it was meant to be a game that was open, that was meant to be your little thing that you create and you make it your own, not to have your hand held through the whole thing. And I personally do believe that modding was the correct thing to be done for it. I think that modding was perfect for it. I can't help but think that modding was exactly what that game needed. You know what I mean?
I agree with that, but obviously the creators of the game don't agree because they have actively not helped the modding community.
Well, that's the new owners.
They have talked multiple times about releasing the modding API, which again I don't know what that really means because I'm not a modder or whatever. But as far as I know, the last news about that was that they were actively never going to release the modding API, and part of that is because they want to sell everything on the Microsoft Store. Now, I agree that is partly because of the new owners, but the problem is when you have a game that doesn't have any direction outside of enjoyable mods, and you're actively combating the modding community, that just tells me that I'm not going to support a game that is trying to kill itself. It's not working. People are still buying the game, but in my opinion, I just don't like the non-direction that they're taking.
I've said that for a while. I wish that Microsoft would work better with the modders because it would improve the game for everyone. But Microsoft's like, well, look, we have this in the console now. We want everything to be exactly equal. Well, this is something that I've argued for God knows how long, and I think that saying that we should let the game be exactly like this or exactly like that is kind of a silly thing. Saying that, okay, we need to have this fucking how do I best put this game cannot be equal to the console. It cannot be equal to the PC, so we have to level out the PC. No, you stop, you fucking idiots. How about we go, well, obviously the PC is going to be a hell of a lot more powerful because the PC is always going to be more powerful than the console, no matter fucking what. It's just how the goddamn thing works. It's how technology works. A console is stuck where it's at permanently. There's no way to evolve it. Not that it's wrong or it's bad, it's just how it works. PC is always evolving, so how about we just have two separate versions and we promote modding on the fucking PC and go, hey, these mods work really well, like Binding of the fucking Isaac, as you pointed out, and add them to the game instead of just hiring on one or two developers. I mean, hiring on developers is cool, but it could be so much more. And saying that it's only a block or something like that they added dolphins, that they added a new mod called, oh god, what the hell's the name of it? I'm trying to find the name of it. It's called it's like a manta ray like creature that I guess they haven't given an official name yet.
It's just called Mob B.
Mob B, okay. It's gonna be added very soon. Because there's how many times we decide to say fuck sleeping, there's no reason to, we'll work the whole way through the night because we're underground anyway, or we're in our house. This will force you to start sleeping, which means it's going to add a slightly new mechanic. It's also going to finally have a flying mob in Minecraft. So once again, it's adding something new instead of it being just building, that's it, where you just work day and night, never sleep. It's going to force you to start sleeping. Well, in the modded community, that's going to be doing a lot of shit because there's mods where you have to not sleep. You have to have nighttime or else the mod does not work because it needs the moonlight to charge up said mod or something of that sort. Well, this is going to add a whole new mechanic for modding. Once again, it's going to be cool.
But you're counter to the idea there because modders are going to be pissed at this because now a bunch of mods... because it happens all the time. Like there's mods that died like 5 updates ago because the lack of communication with modders, the lack of support for modders means that certain updates broke certain things in such a way that the modders got sick of updating their mods and they just stopped. And
You're
the
not
mods
wrong.
you're talking about that work off of Moonpower or whatever, if this breaks those, they're just going to say, screw it, I'm never going to update again. And all they're doing in Minecraft is creating massive division for the game. You have people that have not updated Minecraft on PC since like 1.7 or something. I don't know.
1.7.10?
And you have people that have not updated because they are using mods that the last the update after that point broke, and they want to keep using those mods, and the modders don't want to keep updating.
Unfortunately,
So-
I'm one of those people you're talking about, because one of my favorite mods in the entire world was Buildcraft. And they've stopped updating it as of right now, which means so many of my favorite mods that work with and depend on Buildcraft are not going to work anymore.
And there you go. See, that's my point. Like, that's why I don't like Minecraft, because they are not community friendly. Like, the game itself, it could be so much more, but the people that are in charge are, for whatever reason, they seem to hate the community. Like, despite the fact that they have Minecon and they say all these great, oh, we're adding this and we're adding that, isn't that great? And everybody goes and they say, yay! The actions don't match the words. The actions of what they're doing with the game is anti-community, whereas they come out to Minecon every year and say, we love you. Well, what Microsoft, I'm not speaking by the way of Mojang. I think there's a disconnect there too. But Microsoft couldn't care less about the community. Microsoft, like EA, like Ubisoft, they care about the bucks.
Well, it's a business.
And again, I'm not saying they're inherently wrong. Well, no, I am saying they're wrong. But the reason I stopped playing Minecraft wasn't just because I got bored with it. It was because I started to see that other people were trying to do better than Minecraft, and Minecraft was not evolving. And it still hasn't. And on the longer scheme... Now, one of the reasons that Minecraft continues to work is because there hasn't been a game that has really, like, grab that same feel of Minecraft. Like, nothing is out yet other than direct Minecraft clones.
I mean, there's Creativeverse, which is, it looks nicer, it's prettier, but it doesn't. You can tell it's not finished, and it's never finished.
And that's the current problem. None of the games that are theoretically competition for Minecraft are finished yet. Like Space Engineers could be Minecraft only better, but it's still in a state of unfinished. And I will be the first one to admit, honestly, Space Engineers is having the same problem that Minecraft did. It has no real direction. They just keep adding new things and bug fixing, and that's not, you don't have to have a story. Keep in mind, I'm not talking about a story. I'm just talking about a direction. And when you can see that a game has no direction and they just kind of flounder, it loses my interest faster than a game over here that does have a direction. Now, if Minecraft continues on this path, they will be left behind eventually.
Yeah.
Because eventually there will be a game that does everything Minecraft does, only better and with a direction. We just haven't got there yet.
I present to you Portal Knights.
Portal. I've heard about it and haven't even seen the trailer for it yet. Everybody's told me to check it out.
Yes, I first saw it several months ago. It's pretty much Minecraft that looks better, and it has like a definite endpoint. But you can still play after that, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I'm hoping Lego Worlds is the game because
Lego?
I want. I mean, Minecraft is Lego, and Lego has their own game, so.
I see. Every time I see Lego, it always seems to get super, super, super cheesy, and like way
Well,
too
no,
little
no.
kiddish.
I'm talking about Lego Worlds. It's
Well,
a different game
it's
than
gonna
all
be
the other
same
ones.
exact thing. It's gonna be just a little kid thing.
Isn't that what Minecraft is?
No, Minecraft is an
the-
all ages thing. Minecraft has no age, where Lego always
Exactly.
Has a
Lego
younger-
has no age either.
Oh, Lego has an age. Look at every single game they've ever put out is always
No, you're not listening to me. Lego Worlds isn't a part of the other games. Lego Worlds is Minecraft only with actual Legos. Like
You know,
it's
when I see it, I'll believe it, but I will not. I won't believe it until it's actually proven to me. Because every single time I put any faith in Legos, period, every single game they've ever put out was always so little kiddish I couldn't touch it.
it's out. You can watch it on YouTube.
Sure.
Stacey's saying Minecraft is for all ages is like a guy with buying a new action figure and saying, no, it says 6 and up.
I disagree with you. I hear that fucking all the time on my stream. Going,
It's not
"Bro,
a doll, it's an action figure.
I seriously though, I hear that all the time. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you playing a kids game? Minecraft has never had an age. It's a great game for all ages. Where Legos, especially Legos, I would say definitely has it because look at the stigmata. It's a toy. It's an actual toy besides being an in-game thing. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, I've seen some adults that go fucking crazy with Lego.
True.
I will say what I will say about that is that Minecraft doesn't have restrictions. Lego does because it is built for kids. For example, they have this whole Lego creator thing where you can vote on sets that people have made that they want to get made into a real set. And some of them are licensed, some of them aren't. For example, they made a Back to the Future set, like the DeLorean, based on the fact that people really wanted it. They went to whoever owns Back to the Future, and they actually made it into a set. Shaun of the Dead was pitched. Shaun of the Dead made it very quickly in like it's based on votes and stuff like that. Made it extremely quickly. Like everybody wanted this Shaun of the Dead set. It was the bar, that they go to.
Mm-hmm.
And Lego basically came back after they looked at it and blah blah blah, and they said this product does not fall in line with the Lego. I don't know what they called it, but basically Lego does have to have a certain amount of kid friendliness not because it's made for kids, but because the bottom of the line is ages 8 plus.
Here's my thing.
So they have to make it friendly enough so that somebody who is 8 or the parent of somebody who is 8 looks at it and says, "Okay, I'll buy that for my kid."
Well, here's the thing. I just went on the Steam, and it had great reviews until the latest update. Apparently, they went from sandbox open world to a storyline game, and just
Well, there
throttled
was
the shit
always
out of
going
it.
to be a storyline, but you can still sandbox it just like Minecraft.
That's not what the reviews are saying.
But my point is that I would love it if that were the game, but I don't think it will be. But my point is, when it comes to Minecraft, is that there will be a game that does everything that Minecraft does, just better in every way.
Oh, and
Wait.
I completely agree.
Wouldn't that be Star Citizen?
No, I don't.
That game
think
does
so.
everything, but it's never going to happen.
Why do I remember that name? What the hell do I remember that name for?
Star Citizen is the that one Kickstarter game. It's like, oh, it's going to have real time you as a pilot space combat. It's going to have the EVE Online space management stuff. It's going to have everything in it.
That's the one that everybody was pissed off about. What the damn game? The space game everybody was pissed off about. Why was it escaping?
No Man's Sky.
Everybody was pissed off at No Man's Sky, and everybody was saying Star Citizen was the next up and coming next thing.
Yes,
God.
it's the next game that's going to literally have everything in it.
Well, the it's not. and like it's going to be a big game, but it's not like Minecraft. And mainly, it's not going to be like Minecraft because you're not going to be able to build and do all the things that you can do.
I just mean that as far as your assertion that game that the next the Minecraft replacement is going to have everything in it. No game has everything in it.
Star Citizen is not that game. Like it's not going to have like.
I know, but
and again,
sold as such.
I'm with Rad on this one, buddy.
Well, okay, I can tell you this much: I own Star Citizen, and they are making forward progress. The biggest drawback to Star Citizen is that it is being made. It does have a designer, but there's the other side of that coin where this particular designer is too involved. Like, he has a very specific vision for this game, and he is not going to be satisfied until it comes out the way he wants it. So it's going to be in development hell for years because he's just, oh no, it's not perfect yet. It's not perfect yet.
Well, it seems like the designer is just him. He doesn't have like a team of people.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like he has a vision, and they do
this is
have
how it's
a
going to
team
be, and that's it.
Working on the game, but that's the coders. But his vision is the only vision that matters, and I mean, at the end of the day, maybe it will end up being great. Who knows? But right now, and it does actually have quite a lot of content that they're exploring. But right now, they're still in the phase of development where it's engine. They're still building mechanics. They're still building, like worlds and stuff. They're not at the point where they're going to actually give all that content a context. It doesn't have... There's kind of nothing to do except for space combat right now.
Real quick, because I know we're starting to get a bit long in the tooth here on this on this episode, but I do want to talk about something that's happening on Twitch right now. And it's a new category that was just put in called Always On. A lot of people were a bit iffy about this at first, and it could possibly change Twitch slightly, but I don't see it necessarily destroying what Twitch was and what's grown to be, but I could see it evolving into a new microcosm of Twitch, but it looks fantastic. And what it is basically broadcasters like RiffTrax, which I've talked highly of them before, and I fucking love RiffTrax. They who remembers good old-fashioned Mystery Science Theater 3000? Everyone here?
I do.
Right?
I know of it. Never watched it.
Robbie?
I never watched it. I watched a little bit of it, but I never saw it as a kid.
Okay.
So I cannot watch it as an adult.
Okay. It's just a funny thing where they sit down there, they make fun of the movie. That's the meat and potatoes of it. Some, like in Mystery Science, they'd have skits outside of it, but the meat and potatoes of it is making fun of the movies.
I gotta be honest, I like RiffTrax without the skits. Like the skits for me were really dumb. I hated that whole part of it, and I always wanted them to get back to the movie and just make fun of it. And so RiffTrax is great because all it is them making fun of whatever it is. And it should be noted, it's not just movies. They also make fun of these really old like PSA videos and stuff like that. And it can be a little hit or miss. There's some of them that aren't as funny as others. But have you ever wanted to watch a really bad movie, but you can't justify to yourself watching it because it's wasting time watching that really bad movie?
So many times, my friend. So many times.
Well,
Suicide Squad.
Right. Now you can watch a really bad movie with the RiffTrax guys making fun of it, and you can say, oh, well, that's not bad.
Now
the movie's still bad, but
exactly.
It's not bad.
They make it worthwhile watching it. Now, here's the great thing about it all. They put it on... Oh, go ahead.
It should also be noted, it's not just RiffTrax. They also have the food channel that...
Yep.
It's literally twitch.tv/food.
Has
They
it got,
show like cooking
Guy-
shows and
has it got
stuff.
Guy Fieri taking me to Flavortown?
I don't think so. That's Food Network, but they have like these old cooking shows and some new cooking shows, and they used to be on Creative, I think.
Yep.
But since they added Always On as a new category, food moved to Always On because it is literally the definition of what Always On is. It's your channel is always on, not VODs. Like it can be pre-recorded content. For example, Riff Tracks and Food both have pre-recorded content, but it's your channel is always live.
24/7.
Now, I mean, and you know, the one of the best things I saw in it, and this is said with sarcasm, was the Fail Army one. Oh my God, there's a reason why there were vines, because you can only handle so much of it before you want to have your head explode. Holy shit! But
Well, they repeat a lot more frequently even than Riff Tracks, and Riff Tracks repeats quite a lot.
yeah, but it's I love it because you can watch a horrible movie, have the guys make fun of it, and it's just hilarious. It's an awesome, fun time. Now, I saw some people getting upset, going, "Well, is this what Twitch is trying to do? Is this what are they trying to phase out streamers and bring this in instead?" I don't think so. I don't think
No,
it's that
absolutely
whatsoever.
not.
I think it's definitely a direction Twitch would like to go to possibly create, more revenue, because revenue is fucking fantastic. They want to make more money. But this is going to be just one of the many sections of it. And I think it's going to be great. I think it's wonderful. I think it's a fantastic direction. Do you see any backlashes from it? Like anything bad that could come?
Depends on what you consider that. There's already been some community backlash to specifically Riff Tracks. Now, Twitch has a lot of terms of service policies.
That gets confusing for even the people who wrote it half the time, it seems like.
Yes, and some of them are actively vague. And when I say that, I mean that they are vague for a reason so that they can kind of say, well, you broke the terms of service. Riff Tracks already broke the terms of service. They
Some
were
zombie
off
movie
the,
with titties.
They were off the... Well, it wasn't just a zombie movie with titties. Now, let me say that boobs and sex scenes are allowed by the terms of service in like video games that have them, with certain exceptions. One of the main exceptions is what is the content. For example, you can play God of War, and when it comes to the part where he gets in bed with like 3 women and gains a health bonus, you can watch that entire cutscene. You don't have to worry about getting banned. But you cannot play a game that is literally just porn.
Exactly.
Now, Riff Tracks did not break that particular terms of service because they were playing movies that had some boobs in them, but it wasn't the entire point of the movie. In fact, the movies were terrible, but the problem is that you have a community that basically reports things. And
Loves to
Riff
fuck with
Tracks... Riff Tracks is relatively new. I'm not sure if they set their channel to mature only, which they should have.
Yeah.
Not even because of the boobs, but because sometimes the guys, when they're riffing, they say some things that aren't exactly kid-friendly.
To say the fucking least.
And they also play movies that aren't exactly kid-friendly. They may be bad, but they're still horror movies.
Yeah.
So I think possibly that's one of the reasons they got banned. I don't know they're never going to say what happened. They're back,
Yeah.
and they are not showing anything with boobs anymore. So I have to assume that was part of it. But
It's once again, to reiterate on it, it's just frustrating as a broadcaster and as a community member to go, well, where is I need a hard line of this is too much, this is not too much.
hard.
Shut up. But that's what I need as a broadcaster, and unfortunately, it's not there, and it's purposely not there. And I get that. I completely understand why, and it makes sense. But it's just frustrating when we can't go. Okay, we know for sure this is too much, so I can push my content to this point.
Well, as far as what I know legally, like I believe this is still true. That the legal definition of porn is you know it when you see it. And that is only half joking.
And that this is something that's actually quite pointed because remember when we had the social eating? I think it's still technically a category.
I can't remember. It's not a category. It's a subcat. It's like you go into creative and then you select your hashtag category from there, and social eating is a part of that, I think.
Well, here's the funny thing about it with Rad saying you'll know it when you see it. Social eating, that whole eating thing, was actually a type of porn. People enjoyed watching. Rob, you will know exactly what I'm talking about because he's like the porn king apparently. But it's people enjoyed watching people quote unquote get fatter by eating.
Yeah, it's called feeding.
Thank you.
It's not porn, it's a fetish.
Yeah.
But
the difference being that one is... They're both sexual, but one
is a sexual act, the other is something that arouses people.
But they still get off on it.
Yeah.
Yes, but the people that are doing it, that are actually eating, are not going... Oh yeah, baby.
Well,
yeah.
What? So if she's getting fucked and not moaning, is it okay? And not enjoying the fucking?
No, because
but you
again,
get what I'm trying to say here. You're saying that it's defined as porn because she's moaning and slobbering everywhere.
No, it's defined as porn because you can see dicks going into mouths and pussies. It's all about the context, and currently the basic context of what is porn is whether or not you can see an act actually taking place and whether or not a dick is hard. But
if it's a phallic penis, we're fine. Obviously,
if it's flaccid, yes, honestly, it is fine. And if there's no sexual context to the scene, it's again, like Rad said, it's very vague on purpose. It's They have made all of these lines very blurry so that if somebody is offended and enough people get together and they are offended, as I'm assuming what happened when Riff Tracks went off the air for a few days, then Twitch can say, oh, they violated terms of service, we have to shut this down, and then they can discuss with the channel, yeah, you can't show boobs, people are getting angry.
Now, please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I think they should take down social eating. No. There's a lot of people who just felt like having a meal, so they switched over as a joke. There's a lot of people who do that. Or they have it as their lunch break. They'll sit on stream and have the lunch break with the stream. There's a lot of people who do that. Don't get me wrong. But there is that subsection who are going to be doing it. And
that's because there's a fetish for literally everything.
But
there's probably a subset of a fetish that listens to us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Hey, T-Dub, we're talking about you, buddy. Speaking of which, you can support us on Patreon. And you can get off with your fetish. Jesus H. Christ. Guys!
What a way to end.
Right. Thank you so much for swinging in and doing another show with us, you guys. All of you. You've been fucking sexy. You've been amazing. We've offended our Patreon supporter. I think this is a great show so far. Jesus Christ. My name is Stacy Kruger. Who are you boys?
I'm Robbie.
I'm Rad, a subscriber at twitch.tv/Stacy Kruger.
Damn it.
I am Casually Challenged, and don't forget to check out our Patreon if you want to support us.
Patreon.
How do you spell that?
Go ahead.
It would be podcast or Odd Pod. That's 2 D's in the pod because we like to be weird. /Patreon.
It's because we're odd.
And we're like double D's.
Patreon.com/oddpod. We love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. You have been fantastic. We'll catch you all next time.